So you just drug this log off of Chisholm. When do you know that these horses are ready to do a log drag?
That's a pretty good question. I've never really thought about it. It's just one of those things. It's like if you know, you know, but I guess if you don't know, someone has to be able to explain that to you. I guess for me, the colt has to be riding around pretty quiet, gentle. They can't be worried about me or what I'm doing. They can't be worried about my legs, my spurs, things like that. So they have to be pretty responsive to those things. Like I said, riding around pretty quiet. A hotter horse probably going to take a little more time. When it's a little more reactive, jumpy, spooky. But Chisholm's, he's just always been a pretty chilled, laid back horse, and just with him trying to keep him moving forward, I was like, you know what, we need to introduce log drag because he's moving along pretty good, and I don't want him getting bored. Like they all need repetition, but they can get very bored as well. So I was like, let's just see what's going on with it. Is he ready? Is he not? And he proved to me that he was. But so to me, like I said, just they have to be riding around quiet. They have to be basically ready to learn something new. You're going to get in trouble if you can't stand back there and be a good boy. I'll back up out of my space. So, like I said, he was at a point that I felt like he needed to move forward, learn something new to keep from getting stagnant and getting bored in his colt starting. So I was like, we just drug the log out. And I just, basically for me, the way I introduce it, I've got the log out there, I've got the rope on him, and I'll just kind of start riding a circle around it and let that log start to move as he goes around it, and then let him feel a little bit of tension on it, let him get it pulled straight, and then just kind of spin it around in a circle. And then if he's not worried about any of that, then we'll just take off with it. And he just handled it like an old ranch horse. In fact, he was just a little bit lazy about it, acted like it was a little too, almost too heavy, and this thing doesn't weigh 25 or 30 pounds. So he was just like, just an old man, like he'd worked all day at it. So hopefully that answers your question and tells people, and one success thing I can tell you, if you're going to start trying to drag something on one of these colts, it's like anything else I'm going to do with them. Introduce it at the end of their training session when you've already kind of got them a little bit tired and they're definitely on their thinking side, not the reactive side. I don't ever introduce new exercises to these colts first thing. We go through everything that we've already done. And then when I know that he's thinking, he's paying attention, he's a little gassed out, then I'll introduce something new like a tire drag or a log drag, something like that. So just a success tip there, if you are getting ready to introduce log drags or tire drags, something like that to your colt.